Hi, today I wanted to share with you how I have decorated all of these utility bins made out of cardboard. I started with 50 cardboard pieces and I thought I'd never use them all up, but I've got a couple of, maybe like 10 left. I can't believe it. So what I use is here on my desk, I made a template with some leftover packaging as I got to a point where it was just easier to have a pattern. And I do this with one piece of scrapbook paper, 12 by 12. Let me show you the packet of scrapbook paper. I found this at a thrift store for $6 for 96 sheets. It's really nice scrapbook paper. And it coordinates all the bins because it's all coming from the same pack. So with the bin, then there's a lot of folding parts and pieces you have to pull apart, and there's the lip, I guess, or the front of it, the back of it, and just they come flat, of course, because that's easier to ship them, and just had to figure out which one to do first, which putting in the flap sides. Put those in first before you put in the front, because you can't get that front out with those two holes. It sort of welds itself right in there. And so I put the bin together first. Yeah, all fancy like there. And then of course, oh man, I made so many what I felt like were mistakes. I've done so many of these at home. But here I am trying to do it in my shop with the camera going, and you'll see some of the mistakes, but I fix them. So I take the template there, the pattern piece, and it fits the sides. That's basically the toughest part, I guess, or the trickiest part. I don't know if it's tricky. Could be. It is for me. But what I'll do is trace the pattern onto the back of the paper one way, and I'm supposed to trace it another way for the other side. And I usually use my the scoreboard with the cutting blade in it to cut a straight line, but I didn't have that with me today, and I had a ruler. And why I didn't just get the ruler at first, I don't know. Like, again, I was kind of nervous, and it was in a different environment, and, it just didn't go smoothly. But I just wanted to show you that even when you make mistakes, you can pretty much fix it when it comes to scrapbook paper. You can do something, to salvage it. So, okay, so now I've got the straight line. I'm going to cut it on there. When I first started making these, I messed up a few. Well, the first time I messed up at home, I was like, oh no. And then I thought, well, maybe I can just, fix this. And I figured out I could without having to throw away, pieces of scrapbook paper. And I'd gotten such a good deal on this pack that it's made it very economical. The bins themselves were about, I think they were like $40. So to me, it was like a big purchase, like a big commitment. I have to make these work, because what else am I going to put my journals in that, to keep them from just flying or moving all over the place. And these work pretty well. So now the paper, not all bins are created equal here. So sometimes the paper is a little bit too long. So I'll just crease it there, and then I'll tuck it in behind the fold instead of just cutting it off. What I'm doing here, though, is that I want the part of the cardboard to show around the edges, so the pattern piece is just a little bit offset. It's not exact size to the bin. So I'll just fold that, and glue it and then tuck it in the back there. And so here, I'll show you. Hey, tuck it in the back. And it's very easy to tuck in when it's not wet. Sometimes when it's wet with glue, it's a bit stubborn, but you know, I will prevail. You will bend to my will. So there's just a mat I put out to not put glue on my desk, because the desk stays there and it needs to be clean when I'm done whatever I'm crafting with. And so that's one way to keep your craft area organized, is to have to craft in public. And then you have to leave it when you're not there, and you can't leave stuff on your desk. So I use Aleene's tacky glue. I like this the best. I got a whole, I don't know, like 12 bottles of this thing from Staples, and I'm down to this bottle and then another full bottle, and that's it. And I've been using it for, well, probably about a year, I guess. Not really sure, but yeah, it's lasted a long time. And I like Aleene's. It's not too wrinkly for me. Some people like art glitter glue. I like it too, but it's really expensive. So Aleene's is a happy medium. There's my We Are Memory Keepers cake frosting thing. Okay, hold on to your hats. Here comes the mistake. So I use the pattern, like, oh hey, I've got a pattern. You can't make a mistake when you have a pattern. Well, I was trying something different than I usually do at home when I'm making these bins. Okay, so I use the ruler, I get a straight line, but where I made the mistake was turning the pattern. Instead of doing it the way I do it at home, I don't know why, I decided to turn it. I don't know. Let's just say it was another nervous moment there, in the public eye. Okay, so let's speed up to the part where I realize I've done it wrong. I'm like, wait, what? Why isn't it going? What? You should have seen my face. I was like, oh no, I put it on wrong. I turned the pattern wrong. So now it will not look like, well, it didn't turn out the right side. So I cut it into this shape. And I have now a little piece there at the top. And this is how I decide to fix it, instead of getting out another piece of scrapbook paper and, starting all over. I decide to patch it. And I think it was 3 triangles to choose from. So now I'm just seeing which one will work the best, lining up with the dots. And really, it didn't have to be perfect, because most likely no one will notice it. I'll be the only one that knows it. You'll know it. But usually people that come into the shop, they're not inspecting my bins to see if I've placed the paper correctly. Yeah, so one thing I've learned, of the many things I've learned in making journals and junk journals, is that you don't have to be perfect. They don't have to come out perfect. And if you make a mistake, you usually can fix it. You can cover it over. You can, if it's wet glue, you can pull it off. I don't know. But at this point, I'm just going to put in my little circle patch, or patch of circles. That's a better way to describe it. And it will blend in, and no one will be the wiser. And let's see here, I'm just gonna nick off that little bit right there. And here we go. It looks pretty good. Can't really tell that it's not one piece unless you really, really look closely. And I'm happy with it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the front of the bin with the remaining scrapbook paper, and I will do the back of the bin on the outside. And with this part, I just eyeball it. I make the scrapbook paper just a little bit smaller than the front or the back of the bin. And there's my rectangle that I will cut out and glue to the front. And now onto the back, and at this point I usually don't have enough scrapbook paper to do the whole back, so this is going to be another piece job. And same thing, I eyeball it and I'll trim it and glue it and place it and then make another patch. And this part is usually against the wall or against the back of the shelf, so again, doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm going to show you where I put the bin, and I'm going to move some of my journals around to kind of ease the burden. If the bin is starting to fill up and it's too many journals in one bin, I'll just disperse them into a new bin and around the shop. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.